yesterday I did a whoopsie. I didn't think about the fact that changing my preset encoder settings live on stream would stop the stream, and then I didn't notice that the stream stopped for an hour and a half, so we only streamed for about half an hour yesterday. But, whatever, past is the past, hindsight's 2020, we are back today. Hello, Squishy Otzi! Hello, how's your day been going? And also, I said thank you to Nukes to Nuclear Boogaloo for subscribing when I thought I was live, but I wasn't live, so thanks to Nukes to Nuclear for subscribing. But yeah, how is everyone doing today? How's your day been going? Have you done anything fun? Have you had anything boring you need to get done? I did laundry today, because I need clean laundry because I have an apartment tour tomorrow. Because I'm moving in the summer, so I need to get an apartment, so I'm touring an apartment. So that's also, I will not be streaming tomorrow. I posted on my Blue Sky my schedule for this week from the 14th to the 20th. I will not be streaming tomorrow the 15th or I believe it's Friday the 18th. Whatever day the 18th is, I won't be streaming then either. Those will be my rest days for the week. But I am streaming today, and we are back for more of Our Life Beginning and Always. Excuse me. We're back for more of Our Life Beginning and Always. So last time, let's see, so we met a boy named Cove who just moved in. He doesn't want to live in this town, which is by the beach. His dad loves the beach, which is why he's named Cove. We showed him our seashell collection. We had a sand building contest with him and the other neighbor. Oh yeah, his dad gave us $20 to be friends with him, and we took it. And then we told him because we felt bad about it, and it caused a big thing. And it was really sad, but hopefully things should be smoothing over now. I think we have, we're nearing the end of the childhood summer, because I believe this game has 3 summers. So we're nearing the end of the childhood summer. We have some more memories to get through, and then we will move on to being teenagers, which is exciting. We'll get to choose how we feel about Cove once our childhood ends, which is also exciting. So here, let me switch to gameplay, and then pause the music, minus that, and then open up the game. Make sure it's showing up on screen. Perfect. Okay. So then let's turn up the music here. Oh, shit. Okay. And then let me know how the music is on your end, if it's too loud, if it's too quiet, if you need my mic up. Oh, also, speaking of mics, that's an exciting thing, is that, why is it not showing? Why is it still frozen on? Okay, okay, whatever. That's another exciting thing, is that, I ordered a better microphone that should be arriving tomorrow, because I'm currently just using the default microphone on my laptop. So here, let's continue. Okay, there we go. So we did Fireflies, we did Sandcastles, so next we have a Long Day. We have 3 more moments, and then, oh, there's DLC moments. Maybe we should get the DLC at some point. Okay. It was another scorching summer day, the kind where no sooner had you finished 1 cup of water, you were already filling it up again. Everyone else had something on, so that afternoon it was just you and Shiloh. This didn't happen much, especially since Cove had arrived. Is this an Australian or a New Zealand game? I feel like that's like an Australian New Zealand phrase of had something on. That's not an American phrase for sure. Without Lizzie around, Shiloh looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel pleased, frustrated, or nothing really. Made me feel... What did it make me feel? Frustrated. He was He was always wanting to hear what you thought instead of giving his own opinion and expected you to come up with the plans. It was hard work, especially for such a hot day. You drained yet another drink and frowned at the empty vessel. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved something icy cold and refreshing. Something sweet. Something like a popsicle, an ice cream cone, or an ice cream sandwich. Ooh, we have options. How fancy. Let's see. What do we want? My immediate thought was ice cream cone, so I'll go with ice cream cone. Nothing beat a classic creamy scoop of ice cream on a day like this. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without looking. There was nothing to like. Jesus Christ. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without needing to look. Your moms didn't keep sweets in the house. Oh shit, that's real. That's real. My parents did not keep sweets in the house growing up. I would eat chocolate chips. I would sneak chocolate chips as my treats. I remember I had a friend who was like, oh yeah, my parents are super strict with food. And then I went over to her house and there was like ice cream in the freezer and I'm like, we are not the same. We're not the same. Outside, there were plenty of places where such goodies could be obtained, but they were shops and demanded payment in exchange for their products. That is how money could be exchanged for goods and services. You sighed, you voiced your predicament aloud, you asked Shiloh for help. I feel like Shiloh's not going to be much help. You sighed, you voiced your predicament, you sighed. As much as you really wanted that treat, it wasn't going to happen. Oh, okay. What's wrong? I want an ice cream cone. Shiloh, who had been draped over the surfa. Surfing on the surfa. I got waves in the ocean on the mind, I guess. Shiloh, who had been draped over the sofa, perked up. That sounds good. Well, we don't have any here, and I don't have any money. Oh, let me check if I have any. How old are you? I mean, I guess if you have an allowance, but... Shiloh rummaged in his backpack and proudly produced an assortment of coins, plus one stray button. That'll be helpful, bud. You set the button aside and counted the coins into neat piles. Just over $1. You announced this to Shiloh. He had almost certainly come to the same conclusion, but he'd been watching you expectantly. It's not enough, or it's a start? Let's be positive. It's a start. Shiloh beamed at you. We'll need to find some more. Okay. The two of you lifted couch cushions, stuck tiny hands down deep crevices in the sofa and under furniture, and scoured the back of drawers. Most of what you found was useless or gross, bent paper clips, fluffy wisps of dust, or sandy crumbs, but every so often one of you would strike silver or bronze and add it to the growing pile of coins. Your mind wandered to the $20 bill tucked away in your room. It was enough for you— Yeah, we still have the $20 bill, why aren't we using that? It was enough for— Oh, right. It's in half! Oh, hello? Oh, my headphone's disconnected. Fuck. No, connect again. Okay, why did it keep disconnecting? Stop doing that, please. Your mind wandered to the $20 bill tucked away in your room. It was enough for you and Shiloh to get whatever you wanted and more, but you didn't take it out. That was so special to hand over so freely. Also, it's in half! It's in half. Cove's dad ripped it in half. So it's not legal tender anymore. So that's, I think, the biggest issue with that plan. Not that it's special, is that it's literally in half, and Cove has the other half. Besides, let me get some water. Besides, Shiloh would be curious about where it came from, and might even mention your wealth to Lizzie. The exchange had been a secret. Dusty and disheveled from checking every room and squinting into every tiny nook, the two of you finished pooling your finds. Shiloh held his breath as you counted the coins once again. $2.53 and 2 buttons. You didn't know where the second button had decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out. Yeah, free button, man. Don't throw that out. Is that enough? What year is it, man? If it's 2025, that's not going to be enough for 2 ice creams. I'm sorry, Shiloh. You figured he knew the answer without looking to you for confirmation, but the thrill of your success and the reward that would follow canceled out any other feelings you might have had about that. What? Yeah! It's 1995, Shiloh! Ice cream costs 2 cents! You can now afford something at the shops. Just one thing. Okay, that's more realistic. $2 would just get you one thing. But that was infinitely better than none. Shiloh clapped his hands. Yeah, you could probably get something small for $2. Yay! The two of you dashed outside. The promise of sugar buoyed you. The promise of sugar buoyed you onto your destination where, breathless but happy, you stared at the overwhelming number of options. This is a nice place. This is nice. We got a little, like, seaside view. This is nice. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who had contributed to the funds to get the treat. He seemed to notice your pause. Aren't you getting an ice cream cone? Shiloh asked as though he was entirely separate from the decision, rather than someone with a stake in the outcome. Yeah, that being the youngest somewhere will do that. Especially as a kid, you're like, I'm the youngest sibling, I have an older brother. So yeah, as a kid, if like the oldest, like, I just, you know, like, you assume the oldest make the decision, because if you try and make the decision, the oldest is like, well, I'm the oldest, so... And so you just stop making decisions. Do you mind? Oh my god. Okay, I guess it disconnected from my phone. Sorry, my headphone said disconnected, and I was about to be like, oh my god! But it disconnected from my phone, not my... Do you mind? Shiloh cocked his head to the side. I'm 4, I don't fucking care. It was your idea, you should choose. You went ahead and got what you wanted originally. Are you really sure that it's okay? You tried to get something you both wanted anyway. That's probably what I would do. I'd probably try and get something that, like, I like, but then that I also know Shiloh likes. It wasn't fair for you to be the only one to decide when he'd been a main factor in making this happen. Some of the money came directly from his backpack. And that money came directly from his mom's wallet. What do you like? Oh, we don't know what he likes. All of them! They're so good! You pressed further. But what do you really like? Popsicles or ice cream? Which is your favorite? It's so hard to pick, I don't know. Frustrated, you cut to the heart of the matter. You want me to choose? Yeah! That's also very youngest sibling of like, I like everything, just you choose. And that was that. You got the dessert you wanted originally and hoped Shiloh would actually like it too. Finally, the reward for all your hard work was in your hands. You lapped at the soft ice cream. The sweetness perked you up. You held it out to Shiloh so he could take a turn. He shook his head. You can finish it. Shiloh! Shiloh, take some! He didn't want any? After everything he did to help get it? That was weird. Is Shiloh, like, lactose intolerant or something? But you accepted the offer. You tried to include Shiloh. You hesitated. You tried to include Shiloh. Even if Shiloh said it was okay, every story you'd ever seen on TV or read in a book said that sharing was caring. You stood your ground, even as the treat started to trickle dangerously towards your fingers. It's only fair that you have some. We both bought it. But you want it more than I do, and getting to play was a lot of fun already. So you can have it. That's more fair. You held it out to him. I want you to have some even more than I want to finish it, so eat your part. Relenting, Shiloh took the treat and gave it a taste. His eyes lit up. It's really good, thank you! You smiled, pleased with your good deed. You picked the best one. You would have said that anyway. Did he mean that? Shiloh was always so nice no matter what happened. Even if he hated it, you knew he wouldn't say so. That's what I'm saying. I can't trust your opinion, Shiloh. Maybe he thought it was gross, and that's the real reason why he didn't want to take some. You had no idea. You studied him as he ate a little more. He had every appearance of enjoying himself. Still weird. The two of you began to head back home as he ate. Are we going to run into Cove? You walked side by side on the shore in silence, but your thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. Why didn't he speak up for himself? It was almost as if Shiloh didn't know how to say what he felt, or was too afraid to. Autistic king. Autistic king. But like that, literally that was me as a child, as an autistic child, of just like, I don't know what we're doing, I don't know what, I guess you probably know what you're doing, so I'll trust you. I'll trust you and listen to you implicitly. You figured that was his problem and didn't care. Jeez. Okay. Are you scared of me? You thought it was kind of sad. Are we friends? I don't really like any of these options. Are you scared of me? Shiloh opened his eyes wide, seemingly caught off guard by the blunt question. No way! But you don't tell me things, like what you want to do or what treat we should get. That's not because I'm scared. It's because you have better ideas than I do. That's what I'm saying! Youngest child energy! I think Shiloh's an only child. Which is like the youngest child, but less dependent, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't have experience with eldest, only children. It's only children, DW. A lonely child is what I'll be when I sell you. Unfortunately, this was yet another thing that you couldn't entirely believe Shiloh on. You hoped it was true and that he really did feel okay around you, though. Shiloh made you unsure about setting a label on the experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There had been good times and there had been confusing ones. You were positive of one thing, at least. The treat was delicious and that was nice. Hell yeah. Run to Cove? The sun was low on the horizon as you returned to your neighborhood. There you spotted two very familiar figures up ahead, Lizzie and Cove. You opened your mouth to make your presence... No! Cove's crying again! No! You opened your mouth to make your presence known to them, just as you saw tears on Cove's face. Oh no! Cove! I feel like every time I see Cove, he's crying. I'm sorry, Cove. What? Well, I don't know if it's my fault. You walked straight over, Shiloh at your heels. Once there, you defended Cove, took a moment to make a joke, accused Lizzie of causing trouble, carefully asked about what happened. Defended Cove. You didn't even know what happened, but that wasn't going to stop you from fixing whatever was wrong. Cove! Pinky? Why are you crying? Who bothered you? Pinky, I got yelled at. He took a deep, steadying breath. Some grandparents got mad at me. Aw, sorry. Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of a nearby house. Your heart sunk. You knew exactly what had happened. Oh. Every year, the same mean old couple rented out that condo for the summer. You, Lizzie, and Shiloh knew to stay away from them, but Cove couldn't have. Unless we had fucking warned him about it, maybe. They're like that with everyone. Even your mom struggled to find anything nice to say about them, but the elderly pair particularly took offense to kids. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up at that. She looked pointedly in your direction. Uh-huh. I was helping. That's cool. Is there anything I can do? No, I'm just gonna stay away. Or you could teach them a lesson. There was a devilish glint in her eyes. What? You should ding-dong ditch them. Go ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great because they're so slow. They'll never catch you. That's dumb. I don't want to go near them ever again.
You're just saying that because you're a chicken.
You're just saying that because you're a chicken. Cove glared but didn't take the bait. Lizzie turned to you. You're not a chicken, are you? Yeah, cluck cluck. You'd rather just avoid them. You thought they deserved worse. I'll do it. Well, I need to clean my glasses. Hang on. glasses are so dirty. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. You'd rather just avoid them. You looked at the house. Behind those closed doors lurked two beings, rich in years but poor in patience. Maybe they deserved retaliation. Maybe they didn't. That punishment wouldn't be coming from you. It was safer to stay far away from them. You could live without the hassle. I'm not doing it either. Another chicken for the coop. This is a hen house now. If we're chickens, you're a lizard, Lizzie. She wagged her tongue in his face. Still better than a bird brain. Chicken! The condo door opened, revealing one of the two culprits. The old man's wizened face was set in a scowl, which was to say he looked exactly like he always did when you saw him. Maybe that was his normal face. What are you kids doing loitering outside my house? Or maybe he was just always in a terrible mood. Nothing! Nothing? He repeated the word as if it was the greatest crime anyone could commit. Good! Nothing good, more like! Get lost! It wasn't as if he owned the space outside the house, but Cove's eyes, still red from his earlier tears, were wide, and you thought it would be best to heed the old man's command. Lizzie took off, well, with Shiloh immediately trailing after her, without so much as a glance back in your direction. So much for your friendship. You waved your arms at Cove, summoning him to follow you, and ran after Lizzie. The old man's hollers propelled you all from the street to the sanctity of the hill. Only once you were safe did you notice the stitch in your chest and the ache of your legs. Oh, this is beautiful. What the fuck? You flopped down, the blades of grass tickling your face. Lizzie, who had taken the lead in the end, was already lazing on the ground. The four of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoy the feeling of the cool grass against your skin.
Cove.
Hey, Cove! Cove lifted his head. Hi, Superman13452! How are you doing? We are playing Our Life Beginning and Always. This is the third stream I'm doing of it. It's a free-to-play indie visual novel. Yeah, I hope you have had a good day so far. Or if it's still early for your time zone, I hope you'll have a good day. Cove lifted his head. I told you there were mean grandparents around here. Cove rolled his eyes, then decided this wasn't dismissive enough and rolled his whole body away from your sister. Good? Your day was good? Oh, that's good! That day was also pretty good. It was pretty boring, though. I just did laundry and took a nap. Lizzie chose to ignore his response and started chatting to Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh once Lizzie came around. It always went like that. And it was fine, you thought. You still felt a little sad after how much time you spent together today. And it was always annoying. And it was fine, you thought. Shiloh could prefer Lizzie as much as he wanted to. You closed your eyes, laid on your side, and relaxed. Some time passed with you like that. It felt good to take a real break. Oh, Cove! You moved onto your back with a small smile and looked at the darkening sky. The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you curled under on cold, rainy days. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft. It wouldn't fall right through them. They lazily floated on by, splitting from each other, merging and morphing into new shapes. You saw a dolphin, you saw a car, you saw an alpaca, you saw a smiley face, you saw cloud shapes. What did we see? We saw a dolphin. You saw a dolphin leaping through the sky. You nudged Cove and pointed to it. Look, a dolphin! Cove joined you in gazing skywards. Yeah, I see it. Really? No, but I like dolphins. Okay, you just straight up fucking lied to me then? Hey! He chuckled at your reaction. Oh, this is so pretty. Ooh, nighttime. All the sun's light faded from the sky, and the moon rose higher. Lizzie got to her feet, dusting strands of grass from her bare legs, and surveyed her surroundings. The ocean, visible from the crest of the hill, beckoned with every sweep of the tide. Ooh. Let's go to the beach! There was no argument from the other two. Shiloh was still Shiloh, and Cove would never say no to going to the shore. His name is fucking Cove. He was a child of the sea. His name is Cove. You wanted to go there too. We're too tired to argue. We're happy to do what the others wanted, objected to the plan. We wanted to go there too. So you eagerly joined the others in descending the hill down to the water. Ooh, oh, our sandcastles are still there. You stepped onto the sand for the second time that day, but it felt different at night. The beach was nearly quiet at this hour. Abandoned sandcastles and footsteps in the sand, too big to belong to any of you, were the only indication of how busy it had been only hours earlier. So I guess it's not our sandcastles, it's just generic sandcastles. The four of you kicked shoes off and removed socks and walked along the water's edge. The waves tickled at your feet. Wonder what would happen if you tried to take a bath in the ocean, with shampoo and everything. That would be bad for the fish.
Jeez.
I didn't say anyone would do it. Jeez, you don't have to be so serious about everything. You're the one who would ask what would happen. That is what would happen. It would hurt the fishes. I like bubble baths at home. They're a lot of fun. Me too. Bubble baths are luxurious. You've never heard Lizzie use that word before. Mommy loves to have bubbles in her bath. She'll turn off the lights and have candles. I'm gonna do that next time. Hey, when's your mom coming to pick you up anyway? Not for a while. She's busy. What does your mom do? What about your dad? How come you never talk about him? Nobody does. Cove? You better be ready to open up about your tragic backstory if you're asking this. Don't you know you're not supposed to ask something like that? Why would someone want to talk about something they never talk about? You kept your eyes on the ground, watching your toes get swallowed by waves. Even if Shiloh never seemed upset when this topic came up, it made you feel awkward just for having both of your moms. Yeah, Cove, if you're gonna ask about his clearly dead dad, you're gonna have to be ready to talk about your parents' messy divorce, okay? It's okay. I'm like Lizzie and Pinky. I don't have a dad. I don't have two moms. I just have one. She's really great. Oh, sorry. I only have one now, too. My mom isn't here. She's back home. It's just my dad with me. Okay, good. You're opening up about your trauma, too. I never had a dad or anything, so I don't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom is gone. Oh, so it's like single on my choice kind of thing? That's chill. Cove nodded. You're choked about Whoa! 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 Even if they're all different, our parents are good in their own ways. You didn't say anything. Even if they're all different, our parents are good in their own ways. Yeah! Cove couldn't muster a response. You don't think he truly disagreed, though. The silence broke with a splash as Lizzie kicked in your direction. Cold water and sodden sand splattered against your legs. Lizzie giggled, foot still outstretched from the kick. Cove joined in, striking the oncoming waves to make a splash of his own, hopefully not with your cast arm, buddy. Shiloh scurried out of Cove's spray zone with a grin. You made a run for it, or you retaliated? You retaliated. You used your foot to smack the water pooling around you, sending an arc of sea foam flying back onto your sister. You laughed as she spluttered, some of the salty seawater having landed in her mouth. She spat it out. Yuck! Lizzie chased you, intent on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast, taking it in turns to be the predator and the prey, as well as joining forces to take down Shiloh or Cove. Alliances were silently forged and wordlessly broken. Everything was fair game in war. Ah! Shiloh's brief exclamation was drowned out by the biggest splash yet, caused by him falling face first onto the ground. Oh no. That would have been bad enough without the wave that followed, cascading over his prone body. Shiloh! Oh no! Shiloh's okay. He's okay. He's okay, everyone. He's okay. False alarm, but he's okay. Shiloh sat up, shaking his head like a dog coming in from the rain as you all hurried over to check on him. His hair was plastered to his head and his soaked clothes clung. If there was any part of him that was still dry, you couldn't see it. That was crazy. Are you okay? Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell over. Way to go, Shiloh, you dumbo. You offered him some help up, let him get up by himself. Who offered him some help up? Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. After a moment, you dropped it. Oh, okay. Lizzie was too busy snickering to notice and held her hand out to Shiloh, too. He reached over and took it. Slowly, he started to pull himself up from the ground. Then he slipped on the slick sand, and dragging him and Lizzie down just in time for another wave to hit. The water rolled over them. Oh no. Sorry! What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? You thought they might be low. They must be low. But there's no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose, then pretend it was an accident, especially not to Lizzie. Even if your relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favorite, right? Smiling boldly, Lizzie extracted herself from the ground and wiped a streak of sand from her cheek. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Shiloh got up again as well, this time without incident. He still looked like a drowned puppy, but that didn't stop Cove from laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. The four of you made the journey back home, leaving a trail of wet footsteps in your wake, and sand in your wake. Damp clothes may have weighed down some of the group, but your spirits were high. Your arms swung side to side as a cool breeze flowed past. My hot moms. Your moms were outside, chatting to Cove's dad. We're back! Your mom's faces fell as they took in the state you were all in, ranging from messy to soaked.
No.
Elizabeth, is that all you have to say for yourself? You brought half the beach back with you. They certainly did. What's Marigold gonna do when she comes to get Shiloh? Is that how you want him to be for the long drive home, cold and filthy? Lizzie's expression turned sulky over the scolding. Being the oldest could be fun, but it also meant she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Youngest. Mr. Holden, on the other hand, chuckled as he ruffled Cove's matted hair. You been out making memories, bucko? I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cove used his slightly moist cast arm to push his dad off. Oh yeah, he got his cast arm fucked up. Mr. Holden's eyes widened when he noticed even that had gotten wet. Now he was worried too. Yeah. Put a plastic bag over it, Cove. I think they could have found a less risky way to spend time and had just as much fun. Well, that might be right. Kids, what can you do? Come on, Cove, let's get you cleaned up and dried off. We wouldn't want to have that cast have to be reset. Cove winced at the thought. Okay. That a boy. Mr. Holden casually bent down and plucked Cove up off the ground, ultimately holding Cove against his chest. Sand was already transferring from Cove onto him, but that didn't seem to bother Mr. Holden. No, he's one with the ocean, dude. Cove protested being carried, but only got a reassuring pat on the back for his trouble.
Take care.
Good night, Cove. Thank you for the talk, Cliff. Night, Punchy family, and Shiloh, too.
Fine.
Well, we better do what we can to fix you guys up, too. Come on, everybody, inside. I want you to march straight to the downstairs bathroom. Yes, Mom. Okay, Lizzie's mom. Don't worry about stopping to wipe your feet on the mat this time. That won't do much good tonight. Sitting on an old beach towel your mommy had found, you waited in the hall. Unless you were Sandy, you weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house. Until you were less Sandy, you weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house. But you did get to eat a sandwich for dinner there. It felt like an indoor picnic. It had been decided that Shiloh would wash first and borrow some of your clothes. He was already finished and packed away in his mom's car. Miss Fields had come to collect him a little while ago. It was a bit of a funny experience seeing him without that hat for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got into the tub next. It wasn't a bubble bath as she had hoped. This was a no fun allowed cleanup session. At least that's what she claimed. Not much longer and it would be your turn. When the bath was done, you'd have to go right to bed. After a day like this, you were glad there weren't going to be any further events. Drifting off to sleep sounded like a great idea. Okay, let's do grown-up. One sweltering... Oh, I should probably save. Cove's dad had... Oh, wait, fuck. Save. Okay. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your moms had left the two of you, along with Lizzie, to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to Mommy, so your sister was starting to get impatient waiting for her golf class that evening. She has a golf class? Jeez. I mean, I guess they... Well, this is a nice house. I guess they have money. The three of you had trouble finding something fun to do. The beach and the playground were off limits, and you felt that it was too warm for anything like playing with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly, the light came to Lizzie's big brown eyes, and her smile spread wide across her face. Having an idea gave her a new wave of energy. Since we're stuck inside, we should be adults! They don't play outdoors anyways. They're always inside and telling everybody they're too busy to play.
Why?
Why?
Duh.
I said why, and it'll be fun, duh! What do they do inside that we don't? Besides use the phone a lot. Excluding a small huff, Lizzie decides to ignore Cove.
What do you think?
Pinky, what do you think? Do you want to? Cove said it. That doesn't sound fun. I bet we could come up with something else. I don't know. I want to. I don't know. Please, Pinky. When have I ever had a bad idea? Whenever we play with you? I wasn't asking you. I'll try, but it sounds boring. Okay, I'll stay. Sorry, I have other stuff to do. You kept hesitating. I'll try, but it sounds boring. It's not gonna be, I guarantee. Lizzie seemed more determined than ever, and you could only sigh. Satisfied that neither of you were about to bail on her, Lizzie thought over her options while you watched. After a few seconds, she clapped her hands together and beamed, apparently having settled on something without asking either of you. Okay, I'm gonna be a professional golfer. Pinky and Cove, you can be a beach volleyball player, a gymnast, or a tennis player. Why can't we pick anything we want? Because I have a fun idea, that's why. And we have to play sports as adults? Yep. But there's other kinds of sports, too. It isn't the same. What do you think, Pinky? Don't those choices sound super cool? You want to be that, huh? Ooh, lots of options. I kind of like those. It really doesn't. Haha, it sounds like a blast. Is there anything else we can be? You nodded. Maybe not. Isn't there anything else we can be? Or, I kind of like those. Lizzie beamed at you, happy at least one of you liked her idea. Oh yeah, which one sounds the best for you? Out of my list, still. Cove was not impressed with Lizzie's attitude, though he didn't bother talking more about it for now. He thought over the list of possibilities. Beach volleyball, gymnastics, or tennis. Out of all of them, you'd prefer to play... beach volleyball, gymnastics, or tennis. Gymnastics. You couldn't spend the afternoon doing cartwheels and handstands in the backyard, then you might as well practice them inside. There wouldn't be as much space as there was outside, but you could still try. Yes, that was clearly the top option. I guess I'll be a gymnast. All right. How about you, Cove? I pick volleyball. I should have known. Okay, so Pinky, you're a famous gymnast, and Cove, you're on a popular beach volleyball team, and Lizzie's ponytail bobbed when she proudly stretched her arms wide. We're Olympic athletes who just competed in the Olympics. Cove didn't seem at all impressed with the announcement. He made a face and adjusted the glasses on his nose. That's really specific. That's what makes it fun. Anyways, Lizzie marched back and forth in the front of both of you, getting lost in her own imagination. I won all gold medals, and people are calling me the next Mickey Wright. Who's Mickey Wright? Who's that? Lizzie stopped on the spot and turned on him, her brown eyes shining with impatience. It doesn't matter if you know who she is. It's a golf thing. You guys won medals too. Cove, your team was bronze, and Pinky, you barely missed out on the gold and got silver. It's more real if we're not all first place. Silver sucks. I don't want silver. I'm okay with that. Hey, we can do better than silver. Silver's not bad. Nice. You stayed silent. Silver's not bad. It may not be first place, but you knew that silver medals were still really good to get in the Olympics. But it isn't gold.
Sorry.
Lots of people lose at the Olympics. Them's the breaks. Then you're the one who did, not me. Lizzie looked taken aback by Cove's declaration, as though the thought of her losing was completely absurd. No way! It wouldn't make sense! I'm already practicing my golf game. She took a golfing stance to make her point, pretending to swing her club and hit an invisible ball. So, what kind of house do you want to live in? Cove hadn't changed his mind about winning, but thinking about where he'd live as an adult appealed to him, apparently, because he looked back at Lizzie with some of the anger fading. I'm going to live on the beach. You couldn't have fucking guessed by my name? My name is Cove. Why are we all so shocked that I like the beach? Lizzie made a face at him, poking out her tongue. Well, that's kind of boring. We already have that. No, not like the normal houses here with a street. On it, right on the sand by the water. Just like that, all the tension was back. You hadn't even had a chance to choose where you would want to live. Well, that's not very fun or smart. You can't live on a bunch of sand and shells. But I want to, and I will. Cove narrowed his eyes at Lizzie, even though she stood Cove narrowed his eyes at Lizzie, even though she stood half a head taller than him. You didn't give a list of things to pick from this time, so I'm picking that. Why are we even playing pretend if we can't imagine anything? Jeez. Well, I'm gonna live in a mansion, far away from here, and far away from you. One with an indoor pool and a place to practice my award-winning golfing. How come you were yelling about mine when your idea is even more impossible? Lizzie's face flushed red, her hands balling into fists at her side. It's not impossible, and it's better than yours. Disagreements always seemed to crop up when the two of them were together, and you always felt like you were stuck in the middle. But when it came to the topic at hand this time, you thought you'd prefer a mansion, being on the beach was cooler, you wanted to agree with Lizzie, Cove was right, you were tired of deciding between either of them. You were tired of deciding between either of them. You didn't engage with their bickering and instead dreamt up your own dream house. And you weren't going to share your idea with them, either. You already knew it was a good one. You can swim whenever you want if you want. You can swim whenever you want if you live on the beach. We can still swim anytime we want from where we live now. Being a little closer doesn't mean anything. Says you. The two of them scowled at each other. You're being so unreasonable! I don't get what you want. This game doesn't make sense. It does! You have to be realistic. I said that. But you're not. You had no idea what to do to make them stop at this point. It seemed like the two of them would just keep working each other up as long as they could. Nothing you'd said so far kept them from being mad. Thankfully, like a greeting card angel, Mom walked into the room. What's a greeting card angel? Lizzie rushed to her, hanging out onto the hem of her shirt and poking out her tongue at Cove. Lizzie, Pinky, it's time to get ready to go. Sorry you have to leave already, Cove. Their mommy said she'll walk you home so you won't be left in the cold. Cove was still glaring at Lizzie, his face flushed red with anger. I can go by myself. But... Without giving Mom a chance to stop him, Cove stood up and stalked out of the room, shoulders drawn tight. Oh, shit. Okay. Worried, Mom turned back to look down at you and Lizzie. You two were playing nice with our new friend, weren't you? You told the truth, you lied. You lied. Yeah. Reassured that you didn't rat her out, Lizzie flashed you a smile. Mm-hmm. That's right, we're good hosts in this house. Take some water. We're good hosts in this house.
Nice.
That's what I like to hear. We'll have to make sure he comes over again. Lizzie's smile immediately faded. Right, we better get a move on. Let's go, kids. Nolani, where did you leave the car keys? Mom hustled you all out the door, and you noticed during the car ride to golf practice that Lizzie was quieter than usual. She was usually the first one to request which music to listen to in the car, but she didn't say a thing. Your parents noticed she wasn't in a mood to be bothered. They gave her space, and Mommy just asked what you'd like to listen to. You picked your favorite song. It always made the car ride more fun. You picked the soundtrack to a cool movie you saw a couple months ago. You chose a song you knew Lizzie liked. Maybe that would help cheer her up. You picked your favorite song. It always made the car ride more fun. Eventually, Lizzie came around and started singing along with you. You both knew all the words, and your moms even sang along too. Ooh. Oh, this is like a nice, fucking country club. Damn! When the car ride was over, you spent the twilight hours watching Lizzie hit things with other girls her age. You didn't know much about golf, but you knew that she really liked it, so you sat with your moms and tried to puzzle it out. Excuse me. It was nice sitting outside after being cooped up in the house all day, and you stretched out your legs to let the last few minutes of sun warm your skin. When the sun was finally out of sight, dipping behind the horizon, you all got ready to leave. Instead of going straight home, your moms took the family out for dinner. You went to a restaurant you had all been going to You went to a restaurant you all had been going to ever since you could remember. The whole afternoon had been a bunch of shouting that you hadn't been able to stop, but you could kind of tell that all this had helped Lizzie to be less angry. With Lizzie in a better mood, the car ride home was much more pleasant. The two of you took turns picking the radio stations while your moms spoke quietly to one another about stuff. Soon enough, Mom was turning onto your street and then reversing into the driveway. Once she cut the ignition, the four of you got out of the car and went into the house. Mommy went to the washroom, while Mom left to go change. You and Lizzie stayed downstairs in the living room. You were about to head to your room when she stopped you, motioning you closer instead. Puzzled, you listened to her. She craned her neck around, as if expecting someone to pop out of nowhere and scare her, then turned back to you. Lizzie crossed her arms, peering intently at you. Thanks, Pinky. I couldn't say it before. If you said Cove got all mad, Mom would have gotten mad too. You thought back to earlier that day, the argument Lizzie and Cove had had, and how Mom never found out about it. Yeah, Mom didn't need to know. You're welcome. We have to help each other. I want something back for that. You're welcome. You should still try and make up with Cove. Okay, but I'll tell on you if you don't say sorry to Cove later. I'll keep it a secret if you apologize to Cove and give me something. Okay, but I'll tell on you if you don't say sorry to Cove later. Liz's expression soured instantly at your words. What? Why? It was his fault! You made Cove feel bad. Lizzie sputtered before tilting her chin away from you with a defensive look. He didn't do anything. He just can't play right. Mommy... Oh, that's me. Mommy always said that you should apologize if you know you upset someone, and you did. She groaned at your words, throwing her head back dramatically, but you knew your sister. You could tell that she knew you were right. Ugh, okay. I'll tell him. I'll tell him I'm sorry next time I see him. She glanced back to narrow her eyes at you. But you still can't tell Mom or Mommy about what happened. All right. It's a deal. Looking relieved, Lizzie promptly left to go upstairs. You watched her disappear from view, hearing the faint sound of her bedroom door shutting soon after. You were pleased at how things had worked out. Lizzie agreed to apologize to Cove, which meant that soon they'd be okay with each other again, as long as Lizzie and Cove could be with each other. As okay as Lizzie and Cove could be with each other, sorry. The best part was that your parents hadn't found out. You had gotten away with it. You retreated to your own room with a spring in your step. Okay. Let's quickly save now that we've finished memory. And then let's do the last childhood memory, which is shopping. Come back before it gets dark, alright, sport? The familiar voice drifted across the street and drew your attention away from the snail you'd been watching inch slowly across the pavement. Cove waited in front of his dad, pushing his green hair back off his face from where the breeze was blowing it over his glasses. He looked to be paying only a mild amount of attention as he was being handed a few slips of green paper. It reminded you of when you'd first met Mr. Holden, although he's probably not paying Cove to be friends with himself. Cove's dad seemed to feel your gaze somehow, or maybe you made a noise, because a second later his eyes were on you. He waved you over with a smile. He looked happy to see you, but still felt a little weird for getting... He looked happy to see you, but you still felt a little weird for getting caught. You've got to learn how to be more sneaky. You brushed your hands together to free them of sand, then jogged over to join the two. Good to see you again. What excitement are you up to today, Pinky? Nothing. You toed the pavement in front of you. It would be nice to tell them about the snail you found, but you didn't know if they liked snails. After you finished answering the question, Mr. Holden's attention returned to Cove, who was preoccupied with folding the bills he had into a tiny rectangle. Sounds fun! It does? You weren't sure about that. Cove was about to hit the stores by the beach. Why don't you go with him? You shrugged. Cove was in the process of making a similar motion. You didn't have anything else to do, and you hadn't been to the stores in a few days. Maybe there was something new to look at. Maybe. Is that okay?
I guess.
Ugh, excuse me. I was going by myself, but I guess it is. You don't have to. Great! I'm sure you guys will have loads of fun. Mr. Holden reached into his pocket and pulled out a leather wallet filled with money. You found it odd, since your mom's had only ever seemed to have cards in theirs. What do you do for work, Mr. Holden? Why do you have so much cash? What do you do for work? Here! He leaned in to pass a crisp 10 to Cove, giving him a wink and a whisper. Get something for your friend, too. Sure.
Good kid.
That's my boy! Cove's dad ruffled his son's hair as he was straightening back up, the bill in his hand still held out towards the green-haired boy. Take care! Cove accepted the bill after a second and slipped it into his pocket. Then, with one last nod to his dad, he turned and started walking. You followed after him, intrigued at the possibilities this outing might bring. And we teleported to the beach. Cove strayed towards the gentle tide creeping up the sand, and you fell into place behind him. It was a nice day. The sun was shining, and there weren't many clouds in the sky, though the wind coming off the ocean kept it from being too hot. You took in a deep breath, enjoying the scent of salt and ocean air. When you looked at Cove, he was dragging his feet through the sand a little, and you slowed down to wait for him. His eyes searched the ground intently. Are you looking for snails? Are you looking for shells? What is it? You didn't feel the need to ask why. Are you looking for shells? Cove Cove startled a little at the sound of your voice and mumbled a sort of. If you can see any, let me know. You could manage that. You dropped your view to the sand, walking carefully so that you didn't step on any... Oh, step on any seashells. Okay. You were good at finding shells. You had a lot of them at home, and always found new ones. No. Jesus! And always found new ones whenever you visited the beach. The comforting sound of the waves filled the silence with pleasant white noise, and you played a little game with yourself as you walked along, getting as close to the water as possible without getting wet. It resulted in you having to run up the sand quickly when a wave rushed in, more than a few times, and although Cove threw a few glances your way, he didn't say a word. You didn't either. What did you want to go to the shops for? What do you usually do on the beach? What did you want to go to the shops for? I need a new sand pail. Yeah, what happened to your old one? Cove narrowed his eyes, seeming to think deeply for a second.
Whoa.
It disappeared. What? Really? Cove ducked his head down, lacing his fingers behind his back. It didn't seem like he was going to continue, so you nudged his arm. How did it happen? Well... Cove opened his mouth, then shut it again, considering. I took it to the beach one day. Uh-huh. When I got home, it wasn't there anymore. You left it there? Nope. It wasn't at the beach when I went back. Then you lost it. It disappeared. What about you? What do you do out here? I don't come to the beach a lot. I like swimming. I like looking at fish. I like to build sandcastles. Nothing. I like swimming. Cove's lip curled up in a small smile. Me too. It occurred to you that you hadn't been swimming in a while. There was just so much to do before school started up again, and so little time. Once you reached the shopping area... Ooh! Okay, anyways. Once you reached the shopping area, the noise level grew exponentially. No longer just waves and footsteps, but the chatter of people enjoying a lovely summer day, the call of birds trying to find bits of food left behind, and lots of salespeople trying to get attention. You sniffed the air as you walked beside Cove. You could still smell the ocean, but there were other scents now. Pizza, pretzels, hot donuts. Ooh, that sounds good. It was nice, it was not very nice, it was alright. It was nice. The energy surrounding the area seemed to fill you, and there was a bounce in your step as you began looking around at all the familiar sights. There were so many things to do, you didn't know where to begin. You looked at Cove, hoping he was just as excited as you were. Cove was glancing from one side of the street to the other with a look in his aquamarine eyes that you couldn't pull out. His piercing aquamarine orbs! What's that? Cove pointed to a large crowd of people gathered around Cove pointed to a large crowd of people gathered near a few tables with large, colorful umbrellas blooming from their middles. A restaurant? You couldn't see past the adults who were blocking the way, but you knew there must be something worth seeing. Without another word, the two of you hurried over to see what all the commotion was about. Feast your eyes on the amazing Alexander! In the center of the crowd was a man with a tall hat and a funny green coat that had 3 long tails. The Onceler? The Oncelers? That was a stupid joke. There was a little table next to him with a cloth hanging over it that read, "The Amazing Alexander," in glittery golden script. Ooh. Why tell people his name if it's already on the side? Well, maybe some people can't read. Did you ever think about that? Cove hummed with understanding, then turned to walk away, just as the amazing Alexander began shuffling a deck of cards. You bit your lip, reluctantly starting to follow after Cove again. You continued looking over your shoulder, however, wanting to see as much as you could before you got too far away. Hey! Not watching where you were going proved to be a bad idea as you bumped right into Cove. Whoops. Oh, sorry. Did you want to stay or something? If that's okay. He briefly lifted his arms off of his sides before returning them to place. You could have said so. With that, it began. The magic man pulled one card out of the deck, showing it to curious onlookers. It was a 4 of diamonds. Watch closely! You did, squeezing through a few of the adult onlookers to get a better view. Suddenly, the man snapped his fingers and the card just disappeared. Whoa! The amazing Alexander, who had earned his title, turned his head and looked directly at you. He reached out with a kind smile. What's that behind your ear? Nothing? Tell me! You backed away. You backed away. It wasn't enough to deter him, and the crowd of people gathered behind you made it impossible to move any further. He smelled like popcorn and candy when he stepped closer, and you swallowed anxiously. You felt a tug, and then he pulled the 4 of diamonds out from behind your ear. What? You knew you knew that it couldn't have really come from your ear, but you still didn't get how he'd done it. There was a light applause from the crowd, and the man gave a deep bow. This is for you! The magician plucked a pair of balloons from a clump of them tied down to his table. Both were in the shape of a dolphin instead of being a normal circle. Is that because we chose dolphin for the clouds? Maybe? And one for your friend, too! Thank you for being my assistant! Wow! Now you were really grateful that he chose you. After that, he went to someone else in the crowd. Pick a card! Any card! My uncle does this every time he visits. Not the balloons, the stuff with cards. Cove spoke plainly while reaching over to take the dolphin that had been designated for him. Maybe it wasn't so special. Cove is just ruining the fun. At least you had a fun time. You wondered if Cove's whole family was magic. That's fun. You wondered if Cove's whole family was magic. If so, he was lucky. The crowd started to clear some, and you noticed to the side there was a whole rack of brightly colored kaleidoscopes on display. You picked up a kaleidoscope, you picked up a Rubik's Cube, you picked up a magic 8-ball, or you walked past the toys. Ooh, a magic 8-ball sounds fun. Oh! You shifted your balloon string to the other hand so that you could hold it up in front of you. Then you thought of a question in your mind, shaking the ball and hearing some kind of liquid slosh around inside of it. Once you had given it a good shake, you held it upright, waiting for the answer to appear. Concentrate and ask again. You wrinkled your nose and set the magic 8-ball back on the rack. It wasn't the answer you had hoped for. You followed Cove around to the other side of the stall. He went under the awning, careful of his own floating dolphin, and you joined him. Did you have places like this in your old town? Are you having fun? I don't really like it here. You said nothing. Did you have places like this in your old town? Cove blinked at you for a moment, and you wondered if you shouldn't have asked. You knew how much he missed that place. Yeah, but if that place didn't have this shit, then it's just pretty cool. Not really. You nodded in understanding, looking over at the stalls nearby. Oh, that's so cute! The new crab and a shark and a dolphin and a turtle. Oh, those are so cute! While Cove looked at sand pails, you were drawn to a table with colorful Oh, they're keychains! With colorful keychains laid out on it. They were sewn in the shape of sea creatures, and there was a plaque that read, "Handmade," standing proudly in front. There were a lot of different types. You saw a dolphin, a shark, a crab, a turtle. You picked up the dolphin, you picked up the shark, you picked up the crab, you picked up the turtle. I gotta get that crab. That crab is too cute. Your hand stopped on the crab, claws raised and a tiny smile on its face. Yeah, it's so cute! It had big eyes and little legs, and the fabric was smooth when you picked it up. You had seen a few crabs at the beach before, though they usually scuttled away before you got the chance to look at them closely. You liked the idea of having a crab all of your own, even if it was just a soft animal. You were instantly enamored. Checking the price, though, your heart fell. $6. You didn't know much about money, but you knew that was a lot to spend on one thing. You rarely had more than a $5 bill to your name. I mean, yeah, as an 8-year-old, that makes sense. Though that had changed the day you met Cove, you still had and his dad. You still had the $20 bill Mr. Holden gave you hidden away in your room. It's in half! It's in half! It's not legal tender anymore! anymore. It was a grand sum of money, but you couldn't spend something that was at home instead of in your pocket. Maybe you'd have to ask your moms to bring you here again one day, now that you knew what you wanted. Is that what you want? Yeah, Cove has money! Cove has money! Cove's got 10 whole dollars specifically to get us something. And more money on top of that for himself. Huh? Oh. It's $6. I didn't bring a lot of money. I didn't bring any money. It's fine. Really? Really? Are you sure? Hooray! You don't have to. I don't want you to get it for me. Are you sure? Cove took the keychain from your hands, and that was that. He was holding a small yellow bucket for himself, too. My dad told me to. You were a little nervous, but happy with your purchase nonetheless. It was nice of Cove's dad to let Cove buy something for you, too. After Cove paid, the two of you stepped out of the store and side by side with your balloon dolphins knocking together and spiraling around in the air. You watched Cove hold up his new pail to his face, examining it thoroughly. Oh, excuse me, let me adjust my position. Okay, there we go. Hey, Cove? Yeah? Does your dad always give out money like that? Thanks for getting me it? Nothing. Thanks for getting me it. Okay. Jeez! It wasn't clear if he really accepted your thanks or not. What? You were going to thank him for the keychain again, but considering he only did it because his dad told him to, it probably didn't matter. Cove raised an eyebrow but didn't press any further. Cove looked further down the street, where different food carts were lined up. He rested his non-cast arm over his stomach, and just as he did, yours let out a light growl. You hadn't eaten since breakfast, and after all of this wandering around, you were definitely ready for some lunch. Let's get some food. Yeah. You two wandered around a short while, looking at all the delicacies that were available. Everything looked delicious, and as the different smells, both sweet and salty, wafted over to you, your stomach growled even louder. After passing up hot dogs, snow cones, ice cream, and pizza, you both agreed on pretzels. Okay. Cove got something sweet and cinnamony, and you got a plain one, got one with cheese, got one with sprinkles, got one with chocolate, got the same. Got one with cheese. You licked your lips hungrily as the vendor handed over your You licked your lips hungrily as the vendor handed your pretzel over, ready to take a big bite. It was covered in gooey, melted cheese, just the way you liked it. It seemed odd to get a dessert pretzel before eating normal food. You found an empty table close enough to the beach that the grit of the sand made terrible noises when you dragged the chair to sit down. Ugh. These balloons are gonna make it hard to eat. Cove placed his bucket on the table as he stared at his still balled-up hand that was wrapped around the string. You opened your mouth to agree before an idea hit you. I know. After carefully placing your pretzel somewhere when it gets sandy, you tugged the balloon dolphin out of Cove's hand and tied it into a delicate bow around his wrist. Oh. Cove bounced his arm up and down in place, testing the stability of your knot. After watching his balloon jostle around but remain attached, he smiled, satisfied. Could you help me too? I can't tie it to my own wrist. He repeated the ritual. Cove struggled somewhat with the cast restricting his fingers on one hand and a string already tangled around the other. Okay. Got it. The two of you spent a moment admiring your handiwork, both hands now free to allow easy munching on your pretzels. You bit into the doughy treat, savoring the taste on your tongue with a smile as you looked out over the ocean. After a time, you finished your pretzel. You were done before Cove. It was boring not having anything to do. You pulled on the string of the balloon to bring it down to your level. Then you held the dolphin in your hands, manipulating it to look like it was jumping through the air. If you turned to face towards the beach, it almost looked like it was swimming in the waves like a real dolphin. A laugh came from your side. When you glanced back at Cove, he had left the remaining part of his pretzel on the wrapper, and he was gripping his dolphin too. That's okay. Mine's name is Merryweather, and he's the prince of the dolphins. Mine's name is Splash. They star in movies. Mine's name is Cherry, and she's actually an alien. Mine's name is Sam, and they're just a regular dolphin. Mine's name is Splash, and they star in movies. Their trainers use fish and treats to help them perform tricks. They're the most famous dolphin in the world. You sighed, wishing you could star in a movie with a real-life dolphin. What's yours? Cove considered the question, placing the balloon against the table and resting his free arm across it in contemplation. It's... With a loud pop, the dolphin exploded into ribbons. Oh no! Oh no! For a second, is every fucking memory gonna have Cove crying? This kid's having a bad summer. I'm sorry, what the hell? For a second, all Cove did was gape in shock like you. Then his cheeks puffed up, squinting at his eyes, and you saw tears start to glisten. You made a joke, you offered to find Alexander, you offered to give Cove your balloon. You didn't say anything, he would be alright. You offered to give Cove your balloon. You can have my balloon instead, if you want it. Cove looked over at you, frowning. I don't want yours. Oh. You felt bad for Cove, but you were secretly glad. You really liked the little dolphin and weren't too eager to give it up. Cove spent the rest of the outing sniffling and didn't say much else. The passing of Cove's balloon was the last major event of your adventure. In the end, the two of you headed back late that afternoon. You separated on the beach, and while Cove went straight home with his brand new sand pail in hand, you decided to sit for a while. You watched the waves and the sunset, fiddling with your new keychain. Another summer day was drawing to a close. It had been nice, for the most part. Hopefully there wouldn't be any tears next time. I feel like that's wishful thinking. Okay! And then summer ended. You moved to the next step? Yes. Okay. We're ending the childhood. I'll never get tired of that view. You stood beside your moms and Lizzie as the four of you watched the sun dip into the ocean somewhere far, far away. You like to imagine it cooling off from the water, resting itself before getting ready to shine brightly again tomorrow. That was a fun day. I didn't know they had magicians on the shopping street now. Neither did I. Oh no, we are so dull. Let's get out more. He didn't do real magic, Mom. How did you figure that one out? 'Cause I know, that's not what real magic looks like. Oh, Lizzie dear, there's all kinds of magic in this world. Lizzie gave Mommy a suspicious look, but didn't dispute the claim. Well, we can't sit out here all night. Time to hurry home and get cooking. Who's helping with dinner? Lizzie immediately lets out a groan. Mom, summer's almost over. Protest was obvious. You could practically see school on the horizon. You certainly didn't want to spend your last bits of freedom cooking dinner. You could do that any other day. Please, can we just play a little longer? We have to keep playing before it's too late. It is almost over. You put on your best puppy dog eyes. Lizzie may not want to, but you planned on going home. We have to keep playing before it's too late. Mom raised a brow, the corner of her mouth lifting before she pursed her lips. You make it sound like it's the end of the world. It practically is. You nodded vigorously, thankful that you had your sister on your side. Surely your joint effort would wear your mom down. Soon we'll have homework and reading to do. We can't do work now, too. Lizzie made her case and then stomped her foot into the ground. You mimicked her, feeling that would add something to the argument. Well? Oh, come on. Pam, I can help you with dinner. Mommy leaned in for a hug, and you knew that you were very close to victory.
Okay.
All right. But as soon as dinner's ready, you are coming inside, understand? Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom. So much to do, so little time. Maybe I should get the seashell bracelet at Tines and Trinkets. Ooh, or maybe the playground. Ooh, or fireflies would probably be coming out, right? Don't I get a say in this? You silently made your own plans. We can't go too far. I'm going home. You silently made your own plans. Lizzie had her own ideas of what she wanted to do, but what were you going to do? A strong gust of wind made you shiver. Lizzie huffed as she wrapped her arms around herself. Doesn't the wind know that summer's not over yet? That's all Lizzie said before abruptly turning on her heel and heading off in the direction your mother's had gone. Where are you going? I'm going to my room. I have lots to plan if I want to make the most of tomorrow. You thought this over, looking off towards the water again. Lizzie didn't wait, and before long she was disappearing off down the road. You followed Lizzie, you stayed outside. You stayed outside. You watched Lizzie run off, twisting your lips as you considered what to do. In the end, the pretty sky and soothing sound of the waves won out. You strayed off the path, grinning at the feel of the sand quickly filling in the empty space in your flip-flops. That was fun for a while, but you grew bored eventually. How else could you enjoy the remainder of your time at the beach? You looked for seashells, you drew in the wet sand, you roamed around. You drew in the wet sand. You looked around until you found a sturdy twig, then made your way to the shoreline. There, you doodled and wrote a few words. It was a race against the waves, which would roll in to erase your hard work. It was a great evening, but soon you had your fill and were ready to join the rest of your family back home. Not too much farther down, you spotted a familiar green head of hair moseying along the shore. Hello, Cove. You kept going, you went to see what Cove was up to. Curious, you strayed off your path and walked over to him. Cove knelt down, picking up something you quickly identified as a smooth rock. He reared his arm back, then tossed it out into the water. You were impressed how far he got it to go. It sailed all the way out to sea. It was a good toss, that was pretty neat. It wasn't a long throw, but he didn't care to try for that. The rock sunk kind of like a rock and fell back down almost right after he tossed it. It was a good toss, it was pretty neat. What are you doing? Cove jumped a little and you let out a small giggle. Sorry. What are you doing out here? I asked first. Cove frowned, turning back to the waves. I'm not doing anything, just thinking. Cove was looking down at his cast, scratching idly at the pink surface even though you were pretty sure he couldn't feel it. His brows were furrowed and there was a frown on his face. It's not fair. I've had to wear this cast for ages. I can't even swim. When did you get it? How'd you get it? How did you get it? How the fuck did you get your cast? I want to know. I was jet skiing, fucking rich ass. Really? That's not fair. Cool. Your eyes widened. Really? Cove narrowed his eyes a little. Yeah? Why would I lie? You dropped your eyes from his, fidgeting. You didn't think he was lying, you were just surprised. He then continued to explain. I crashed. Like a fucking wave, dude, I crashed. He gestured to his arm as if to say, and this was the result. It's hard to believe you're allowed to jet ski.
Whoa.
Well, I'm not. Oh. Cove let out a huff, plopping down into the sand. I can't believe summer's almost over. You sat down next to him and nodded in agreement, regardless of the sudden topic change. I don't want to go to school. I mean, I would, but I want to go to a new school. I think it'll be the same school as you and Lizzie. My dad said something about that. So, why don't you want to go? It's nice as far as schools go. You'd only ever been to the one school, but you were sure that his old school couldn't have been that much better. Then again, he did have to make new friends and meet new teachers. It could be kind of scary. Cove shook his head, then wrapped his good arm around his knees as he drew them into his chest. You heard a sniffling sound. God damn it! Cove! You heard a sniffling sound, and you took a good look at his face. You realized his eyes were wet. This shouldn't be a surprise. I want to go home. You weren't sure what to do. It felt weird to just leave him there, crying, but what could you say that would help? You frowned a little, starting to stand. Okay. Well, bye then. Cove gave his head a small shake. No. I want to go back home. Right. Cove wanted to go back to his old home. The one that sat waiting someplace far from here. The one that he would bring up whenever he felt sad, which was very often. It had been a while since he had moved in, but he didn't seem to feel any better about being here. You settled back down into the sand, trying to consider what to do. Do you hate it here? This can be your home. It'll be alright. Do you hate it here? Cove's brow furrowed even more. Then he shook his head. You're not gonna leave, right? You'll still be around? The question was a little surprising. Of course. Your parents would have mentioned if you were going to move or something, right? After a second, Cove gave a little nod. Once I get my cast off, we could go swimming. You were fine with him changing the subject again. Okay. You had to say swimming did sound fun, even if it was already getting chilly out. Cove smiled, then looked back to the waves. My dad keeps saying I'll get used to everything eventually, that I'd feel better then. It used to make me angry. I didn't want to get used to everything. He spared a glance over at Cove and saw the anger had slipped off his face in favor of something almost puzzled. But maybe that would be okay after all, as long as I really do feel better. I can't see it. The two of you sat quietly, just taking in the sound of the waves. Lost in thought, you startled a bit when you heard a faint, familiar sound. The sound of your mom shouting your name. You looked over your shoulder, realizing it was probably time for dinner. Had you guys really been sitting out here that long? You stood and dusted the sand off of yourself. My mom's calling. It's time for dinner. You should come. Cove looked up at you, expression screaming reluctance, yet ultimately, okay. When you smiled, Cove returned with one of his own. But the two of you couldn't stay there in your own little world any longer. You were being called forward. So the both of you ran off towards your house, leaving the waves and summer behind. And I think that's the end of childhood. Ooh. In between. Ooh. What does that mean? Oh, I can change. I can change if I want to. I don't think I want to change anything. Done. I'm still done. Comfort. I don't know if I have a crush on him yet. Nervous, relaxed, direct. I think relaxed. I think relaxed and fond. Here, let's save right here. Let's be relaxed and fond. My feelings for Cove, my comfort is relaxed, and my interest is fond. Okay. Should I do crush? No. Ready. Begin step 2 at relaxed fondness. You won't be able to change it again until step 3. Yes. Customize Cove. Oh! I get to customize Cove? Choose to customize Cove yourself or let his prior experiences determine it. Okay. Personality. Cove creator. Warm, affable, moderate, candid. Studious, mixed, sporty. Warm and candid. I think he's pretty quiet. I like it pretty quiet and then a little studious. A little like mixed. Done. Ah! August ended and September began. It was time to go back to school. I didn't get a chance to do his appearance, whatever. Lizzie groaned and complained the entire first week. She hated going to classes. Still, there were interesting things to do that couldn't be done anywhere else. You weren't sure how Cove felt about it. He was enrolled that year. That was like a sign that Cove... He was enrolled that year. That was like a sign Cove would be staying in Sunset Bird for a while. At school, he was all right, but kept his distance from the other kids, from what you saw anyway. Originally, he treated you like everyone else, passing you by as if you didn't know each other, but as the years went on, the two of you acknowledged each other more and more. A friendship had started to grow. That year, the divorce of Cove's parents was finalized. You overheard your parents talking about it, saying Cove's dad got full custody. At first, you were worried that meant bad news. It had made Mr. Holden cry, apparently. What the fuck happened with Cove's mom? What the fuck? What's the deal with Cove's mom? Then you found out it meant Cove would keep living with his dad. He would only stay with his mom for a few weeks of the year. Cove cried too, for different reasons, you thought. It seemed like Cove and his dad might move again, but Mr. Holden decided to stay after all. Mom asked him about it once. He said he didn't want to uproot Cove's life a second time. Mr. Holden tried to get Cove to like Sunset Bird more. He kept encouraging his son to go out and see the place. Sometimes Mr. Holden volunteered you to spend time with Cove. Oh, excuse me. You weren't sure how well it worked in changing Cove's thoughts on the town, yet it might have been part of the reason you and Cove ended up growing closer. Cove never talked to anybody about what happened with his parents, and withdrew whenever it was brought up. What the fuck happened with your mom? It was hard for him, yet nobody knew how to help. Eventually, Cove stopped crying on his own. You couldn't understand what had changed. Still, you worried about him. You could tell he wasn't completely happy. Maybe one day he could say out loud what he felt inside. After that, it felt like things had gone back to normal, except what was normal didn't stay the same. Years passed, and suddenly you were in middle school. You weren't a kid anymore. You were 13 years old. That officially made you a teen, even if your sister didn't agree. Yeah, I remember being a kid and being like, I'm 13 now, I'm a teenager. The toys and crayons that used to litter every free space in your room had been packed away somewhere, replaced by new hobbies. There were other changes, too. Cove's cast got taken off. It was weird to see him without it initially. Underneath the pink plaster ended up being a long, thin scar that snaked across his forearm. Cove's cheeks flushed with shy pride when someone drew attention to it. He also went through a major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class. For 2 years in a row, Cove will probably hold that spot again next time. In class, people knew him more than just being tall. He also stood out because of how well he did with school stuff overall. Over the years, he became more quiet and reserved. You usually didn't see him talking to other people. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Shiloh, well, he was gone. He died? He and his mom moved back south because of her work, just 1 year after Cove came to Sunset Boulevard. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks. But nobody talked about Shiloh anymore. It was a long time ago. You learned some heartbreaking things became less sad the further away they were, even if they had never gotten any better. That was sad in its own way. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all, but it wasn't how it was before. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanting something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You remember calling her Mommy as a kid, but something like that seemed awkward nowadays. You were much too old for the word. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname, too. She insisted on everyone calling her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mom soon gave her permission to go places other than the playground and shopping street, which she took advantage of. You rarely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she hardly spent any time with you the way she did before. Lizzie instead associated more and more with girls from school who were her own age. Okay, let's save. Maybe the difference between 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. Yeah. Okay, so Lizzie's 2 years older than this. You started befriending new people yourself, like Derek Suarez. He didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cove's dad struck up a business partnership a few months ago. Since then, Derek would pop in the area now and then. It seemed that Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to his work, if Derek had the time for it. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed, in small and big ways. You had too. As time went by, though, it was easy to settle into this new normal. Then, before you knew it, school was over, and summer vacation had come again. Oh, my room's all updated, that's nice. Yeah, see? I didn't put any posters on the wall, because they would just fall the fuck off. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was as hot as ever, but you were inside and away from its harsh rays. To be more specific, you were snuggled up in bed, celebrating your time off by sleeping in, wide awake, about to head out to enjoy your time off. Snuggled in bed. It was hot, but you still had the blanket up over your head to block out the sun. You didn't want it intruding on your lazy morning. Unfortunately, you hadn't prepared for an intrusion. From beneath the blanket, you heard the door creak open. You're still sleeping? Wow, get up. Lizzie's pretty. Go away, you pretended to still be asleep, you got up, you started to fake snore loudly. You pretended to fake snore loudly. You didn't get out of bed and instead made some obnoxiously loud and totally phony sleeping sounds. It was pretty annoying, but she had bothered you first. Ugh, not funny. Get up now. I will come over there. So much for a lazy morning. Mom told me to tell you that your friend's at the door. He brought some happy summer gift from Mr. Holden. Mom wants you to take it from him, says thanks or whatever. So come down already. Be right there. Okay, fine. Really? That's great. I'm coming. I'll be there when I'm done. Okay. Okay, fine. Elizabeth said nothing else and left, having done what was instructed of her. You rolled out of bed, stretching your arms up high and yawning. Oh, time to get ready. You sat yourself in front of the mirror in the far corner of your room. Your reflection hardly even fit in your frame. You're very tall. Your reflection went over the whole length of the mirror. You're pretty tall. The reflection comfortably fit the frame, your average height. There was a lot of open real estate in the frame. You're pretty short. You had trouble getting your reflection to appear in the mounted mirror frame. You're very short. You're pretty tall. I'd say I'm pretty tall. I'm like 5'7", 5'8", so that's pretty tall. Cove tended to be the only person around who was even taller, at least among teens your own age. You liked your height. You weren't sure how to feel about it. You were kind of self-conscious about it. You couldn't help but feel awkward with the body you had. Then you put the finishing touches on your outfit while ruminating on the situation. Careless as they had been, Elizabeth's words piqued your curiosity. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to, so this worked in your favor. Your reflection grinned back at you. You were looking forward to seeing him. You left your room, taking an easy time down the stairs. Cove? Hello? Step 2, second chance. Okay. Let me save. You spotted Mom first, reclining on the couch. She held a magazine in her hands, which she was perusing through. Morning, Mom. She looked up at your greeting, a smile instantly appearing on her face.
Thanks.
Good morning, Pinky. Thank you for coming down. Ma's at the door with Cove. He can't stay over today, unfortunately. Why don't you go and thank him before he leaves? You nodded and made your way to the front of the house. Just as she said, Ma was there making conversation. She must have heard you because she looked over her shoulder.
Oh.
Oh, look who finally made it! Morning, sleepyhead! Ma reached forward and you knew she was about to pat you on the head. She was taller than average for an adult woman, so you were still little in her eyes, despite being big for your own age. Oh, she's tall. Oh, don't tell me she's tall. I can't simp any harder for this woman. You let her do it. You happily let her do it. You tilt your body to the side to dodge. You pushed your hand back and laughed. You put your hand back and groaned. You tilted your body to the side to dodge. Ma didn't bother trying to catch you. She simply smiled. You're the last one down today. Did you know that? Life isn't a race. Morning. I was going to stay in longer, so you're welcome. Sorry about the wait. What did we get? Morning. That's all? You really are a sleepyhead right now. With a small laugh, Ma stepped aside. Cove was just as you remembered, exactly how you came to know him to be. I alerted my cat. He looks so cute! Oh, he's got like a tank top and like a puka shell necklace. Oh, he's blush. Oh, is he flowers? Oh. He leaned uncomfortably to the side in your doorway as the longer strands of his hair idly drifted with the breeze. His features were pinched in embarrassment and he shifted from one foot to another. He was holding what must be the much talked about gift. At first glance, you figured it must be a bouquet of flowers. Then you gave it a real look. No, instead it was carefully cut fruit. It made a lot of sense that it was actually from Cove's dad. You had to suppress a laugh at this showing. You couldn't imagine many folks buying that sort of thing for their own personal enjoyment. That kind of arrangement was built for the presentation, likely to impress whoever was inevitably going to receive it. It seemed no matter how long he lived here, Mr. Holden would keep going out of his way to be neighborly, and Cove would always be roped into participating. Cove smiled slightly at the sight of you. The sting of this goofy errand he was clearly embarrassed to be on eased. Oh, he's so cute. Hey, Pinky. You earnestly grinned back. It wasn't weird at all, like it used to be when you were kids. Because we're not kids now, we're 13. As time passed, the two of you started to enjoy each other's company. Now you actually considered him a good friend, and not someone you were forced to be around by your families. Hey, it's really nice to see you. Yeah, you too. And you were certain he meant that agreement. It was already shaping up to be another long summer day with plenty of time for the two of you to have fun together. His awkwardness over the task started to creep back in, so Cove nudged the gift closer to you. He was ready to be relieved of it. And with that, the gift was accepted. Well, that's everything. Oh, he's got lizards on his shirt and his tank top. That's cute. Though he said that, he made no move to go. You could tell he was reluctant to. Thank you. Thanks. You are too cute sometimes. Aw, you are too cute sometimes. Pinky, just thank my dad for all this, okay? All right. Mr. Holden's behavior really was different from any neighbor you'd ever had, though after 5 years you were used to his antics, and you'd since made up your mind on what your opinion was. He was nice, he was sort of funny, he was pretty weird, you didn't like him, he was great. He was great and kind of handsome to boot. No, I don't think I'm gonna have a crush on Cove's dad. I think he was nice. You knew he wasn't completely perfect, but he always seemed to try so hard for the sake of others. Your thoughts were quickly interrupted by a shout. There you are. You shared a confused look with Cove. As one, both of you stepped through the open door onto the neighborhood street. It didn't take— oh, it's Derek. Oh, we get to meet Derek. It didn't take long to locate the source of the noise. You spotted Derek just a few yards down the road. He ran up to you. Oh, he's got board shorts on. Oh, he's like a little mini version of his dad. That's so cute. You were happy at the sight of him. You were confused at the sight of him. You were displeased at the sight of him. You were confused at the sight of him. You hadn't expected to see Derek today, though you never really knew when he'd appear. Oh, he's a sports boy. After stopping a couple steps away, Derek hunched over to catch his breath. Then he looked up with a wide grin. Hey, guy and pal? I don't know what voice to give Derek. I was just at your house, Cove, but no one was there. Should have figured you'd be at Pinky's place. Do you ever spend time in your own home, or you're always just there? Why is just there? Derek laughed at his own joke. He either didn't notice that it embarrassed Cove, or the embarrassment was what he was actually laughing at. Derek turned to you. He was going to say more when his eyes widened and gasped.
What's that?
You followed his gaze, unsure. Then you realized what he meant. You were still holding Mr. Holden's gift. It's kind of like a bouquet of flowers, but made of fruit.
Nice! Can I have some?
Sure, we can share. I haven't even tried anyone. It's a gift from my family. I can't give it to you. Maybe, it's a gift from my family. I can't give it to you. Derek pouted at your words, not hiding his disappointment.
Okay.
Then he nodded his head as if to clear it.
Anyway, that's right. I came here because I needed to say something big.
He paused, possibly for effect.
There's some other kid here in Sunset Bird.
Cove was as surprised as you were by the news. Such reaction made sense. No one around your age had moved here since Cove did 5 years ago. Were they here with their family? Maybe they were cutting through.
Nuh-uh. The new kid was all by himself, just walking.
Did you talk to him?
Nope. I came to report the sighting straight away. The kid had green hair, glasses, and was...
Wait, what?
Green hair, glasses, and was pretty small, and seemed really upset about something. I hope he didn't leave.
Time Traveler Cove? You blinked. Slowly, you looked over to your longtime neighbor. That sounds a lot like you, Cove. When you first got here, anyway. Yeah, I guess that was me back then. Derek snickered good-naturedly.
I can see that really well, now that you say so. But what'd you say? Let's go find Cove's lookalike. We should all meet him.
I'll do it. Sure, I want to see who this person is. Derek grinned, then he pointed down the street the way he came.
Last I saw him, the mystery visitor was going in this direction.
Nothing else needed to be said. The three of you were off, with Derek leading the way. Derek brought you to the beach, and as a trio, you made your way down to the shore to the old playground. You walked the familiar path in a comfortable silence. When you were almost there, you spotted the kid in question. His bright colors almost shone like a beacon beneath the rays of sun. He scuffled around, kicking up the sand as he paced. It was true, he certainly seemed upset, but you didn't think he was sad like you had originally pictured. No, with his erratic movements and scrunched-up expression, he came off angry. You started to have doubts about this expedition. Maybe it'd be better if you left him alone and let him sort himself out. You shared a look with Cove. He was equally reluctant to start up a conversation. Derek didn't feel the same. He waved wildly, calling out to the boy.
Hey, guy! Over here!
Bowl cut! Coconut head! The kid whipped around, an impressive scowl carving deeper onto his face. His eyes were tired, but a strong, hostile energy still radiated from him.
What? What is it? What do you want?
The sharp tone made Derek flinch. He shifted on his feet.
What's your name? Jeremy? Was that it?
No, I'm Derek. That's Pinky and Cove. We were just walking around and saw you. We wanted to say hi. There aren't a lot of kids our age in this neighborhood.
Yeah, so it's cool to see someone else here.
Strangely, Jeremy grew furious by your response. If steam could erupt from a person's ears, it would have happened then.
They did bring me somewhere stupid. Of course, I knew it.
What?
My parents. They're the ones who brought me. I didn't walk to this town. Can you not figure that out on your own? Right. My dad brings me to Sunset Bird too, when he has to come for work and all that stuff. It's not bad.
That earned him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced beneath it, glancing away. It was a struggle to remain friendly with this Jeremy guy.
I mean, I wouldn't want to come here for a real vacation, probably, either. That's an understatement. This doesn't count as a vacation. It's a waste of time. A chore. My parents' family is nearby, and we just had to come and see them. Ugh.
If they're your parents' family, doesn't that make them your family, too?
I guess. That's a pretty good reason to come by. Did you want to go somewhere else? No.
Okay, fuck me, I guess. Jeremy crossed his arms with a huff. He turned away.
They should have gone by themselves since they cared so much and left me home, but I'm not allowed to be by myself. It makes no sense. They're the ones who don't know how to do anything, and I'm the kid?
You kept quiet. You shouldn't talk about your parents like that. Sorry, it must suck to be forced to do something you don't want. We just said hello. You don't have to keep complaining at us. Calm down. You don't have to yell so much. You peed in your cereal this morning. Oh, jeez. We just said hello. You don't have to keep complaining to us.
Wow. Why did you decide to talk to me, huh? Did I ask for that? No. Did I want you to come over and start flapping your thumbs at me about dumb stuff? No. Now you're gonna whine that isn't what you wanted? Too bad it's not my job to care.
You turn to Cove, lowering your voice. The two of you aren't that similar after all. Jeremy must have had good hearing, though, because he caught the private exchange and scoffed.
Stupid.
Ugh, of course we're not similar. My eyebrows aren't stupid. Hey!
You shut the fuck up about Cove's eyebrows, his weird, squiggly eyebrows. He's sensitive about that. Cove's cheeks flushed crimson at the insult. You couldn't be sure if it was out of embarrassment or anger. Maybe both. Come on. What? No way, Cove's eyebrows are so cool. How can you say that when you've got a bowl cut? How can you say that when you've got a bowl cut, dude?
Yep, it's embarrassing and awful, but my parents made me. I won't have to have it when I'm older. I don't know what he's gonna do with those things, except maybe shave them off. He probably should. I bet it'd look less dumb with no eyebrows.
Wow, fuck you! Jesus! You just rolled your eyes, you crossed your arms over your chest, you shook your head, you patted Cove on the shoulder, you lunged towards Jeremy. You know what? Fuck you. You messed with my friend. You lunged toward Jeremy. With your fist balled, you made a quick step forward. But you only wanted to spook him. He was the one who started things, and you were ready to end it. You only wanted to spook him. He'd made it clear that words wouldn't work, leaving you to resort to action, even if it was just for show. Derek and Cove jumped in to stop you before you reached him. They each grabbed you by the arm. Still, Jeremy instinctively stumbled backwards. He practically fell over.
If that's all you can do about what I'm saying, it's just proving I'm right. You're brainless.
Jeremy continued to defensively fume and throw out insults. The reaction you got was definitely worth any consequences.
Wow, what's wrong with you?
Instead of taking offense, Jeremy only parroted Derek's words in a nasally voice.
Wow, what's wrong with you? Where? This is dumb.
Jeremy stuck his tongue out and skulked away, throwing more sand everywhere as he went. You watched him go, hunched over, until he became a speck in your vision. Silence reigned in his wake. The three of you tried to process what had just happened.
I can't believe it. What a mean kid.
Derek wasn't kidding, and by the sound of those earlier complaints, the new boy, Jeremy, was going to be in the area for at least a little while this summer. Derek sighed in dismay, plopping onto the ground. You followed, and Cove did shortly after. There wasn't much else to do.
This sucks. I was hoping we could meet someone fun, hang out maybe.
He shook his head. After a moment, he slowly turned to you with a hopeful expression.
But you know what would really improve the day?
What? He didn't respond. Instead, he used a hand to point, right at the fruit arrangement that you were still holding. You'd completely forgotten about it during the mini-drama that unfolded. You had gotten used to the wait. Glancing over to Cove, you noticed he was eyeing the fruit. He must want some, too. I need to save it. Why not? Let's eat it. Why not? Let's eat it. Derek perked up immediately at your words. He reached out for a skewer, hesitating slightly when she was inches away.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? You nodded with an eager grin. He plucked out a prime row of fruits. Cove grabbed one for himself after him. Only you were without a skewer of your own. Pineapple, grape, strawberry, melon. Pineapple, baby. Pineapple was cut to look like a flower. It was the obvious first choice. Derek ate a pineapple skewer enthusiastically, finishing it within minutes. This is amazing! Cove continued to munching on his, making a small noise with his mouth full. Hey, you two remember the Land Before Time? That fruit thing makes me think of it. The dinosaurs all liked the leaves that were shaped like stars. Tree stars. Yeah, chomping leaves looked so delicious when they did it. And there was that scene with the pretty trees, and all the dinosaurs came in and picked everything off them till there was nothing. That's us right now. Awesome! I love that movie. I've never seen it. I didn't like that one. That movie's for kids. We are kids! Eating leaves looks good. Should I worry about you? Do you think things taste better when they're shaped like stars? He snickered. Not everything, but it probably helps. The three of you continued like this for the next few minutes. Eventually, the display was barren. It looked weird when devoid of fruit. Hey, we weren't supposed to eat all of it. It did help make you feel better. Eating it all hadn't really made you feel better. Hey, we weren't supposed to eat all of it. Oops. Really? You couldn't stop yourself from sighing at the boys. You just wanted to eat some and have a nice time. Now you're probably going to get in trouble. You can only accept it, though. Hey, Pinky. Yeah? The two of you met eyes casually. Were you seriously gonna hit that guy? No, I just knew he'd get all scared over it. Phew, that was pretty bad, Pinky. I thought it was cool. Oh, you did, Cove? You thought it was cool? What? You're both crazy people. You knew when Derek said things like that, it wasn't serious. He liked you and Cove. Yeah. Derek then leaned back on his arms. He contemplated the sky with a content sigh. So, are you both ready for summer break? Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Are you? How's someone supposed to be ready for a break? Yeah. Cool on you. Wish I could say the same. It feels like there's a lot to plan for. And what about you, Cove? Are you ready? I think it depends. Before he could say anything else, the light atmosphere was shattered. Fuck!
Hey!
Oh, Elizabeth! Hey! Pinky! You glanced over your shoulder to see your sister. She strode closer and closer, appearing none too pleased. I've been looking all over for you. Mom said you and Cove ran off with the thing Mr. Holden bought for us. She leered over you with her arms folded. So, where is it? Well, it's gone. What do you mean, gone? You moved over to the side to face her completely. She zeroed in on the bouquet in your hands, which was now populated exclusively with skewers dripping in juice and tiny flecks of leftover fruit pieces. Her mouth dropped open and the tone of her voice rose. Seriously, Pinky? What were you thinking? It was supposed to be for all of us at home. She glanced at Cove, who sat beside you, and continued mockingly. Even if you did have an in with the delivery boy, this was up to Mr. Holden. Cove gave you a bent smile of support, which didn't help disprove her accusation. Sorry, Elizabeth, get over it. Well, the morning's been kind of a disaster. We were hungry? It wasn't us. A seagull came down and ate it all when we weren't looking. Sorry, Elizabeth. Elizabeth narrowed her eyes at that, not at all placated. Uh-oh. Oh no. I think I hear the mean kid coming back. We better get out of here. Elizabeth blinked, confused, and looked around. What kid? I don't see anyone. Derek didn't bother explaining. He just launched to his feet and ran off. Cove hopped up too, gladly taking the opportunity to exit the situation. He followed after Derek, but he sent a look to you from over his shoulder. You turned to watch Elizabeth. She stared back, brow raised. You ran, you stayed. You ran! Without a word, you got to your feet and bolted down the beach. Unimpressed, Elizabeth rolled her eyes.
So immature.
They're so immature. She shook her head as she walked towards the house, not bothering whatsoever to follow. Meanwhile, the three of you made it back to the shoreline. Derek pumped his fist, grinning in triumph. We escaped and shall live to see another day! Exactly, but we should keep moving. Yeah, for now at least. Victory! My mom's gonna be so mad when Elizabeth tells the story. Yeah, for now at least. I still have to face Elizabeth when I get back home. You chuckled together, walking further down the beach side by side. You definitely wanted to stay outside a little while longer. You had gotten a bit of a scolding from your moms for not saving any of Mr. Holden's gift for Elizabeth, but you didn't get any real punishment for it. Instead, while you were out with the boys, Elizabeth returned home to share the news. The three of them wanted to get dessert on their own. It was declared even by your parents when everyone got back and the event was settled. That was a little while ago now. Later that night, you found yourself seated near the kitchen counter. Oh, phone. Your fingers drummed on the surface as you waited, your gaze trained on the phone. You were waiting on a call tonight, specifically from your cousin Leandra. You didn't want to miss it accidentally. Your uncle, aunt, and Lee used to live many hours away. Your families only saw each other a few times a year for big occasions. A while back, though, they'd moved and were closer to you than ever before. You now hung out regularly. With school being out, you're positive that she's going to want to come over a lot. The two of you were the same age and got along well. She used to be really fond of Elizabeth, too, but now that your sister had become allergic to interacting with her own family, it tended to be just you and Lee who spent time together. She was your only friend who was a girl. Being family helped make you close, but you had a lot of girlfriends. Being family helped make you close, but you had a lot of girlfriends. Even though you weren't a girl, you befriended them pretty well. You also had a lot of non-girlfriends. Oh, Zubiwan! Hello! How are you doing? We are playing Our Life Beginning and Always, which is a free indie visual novel. And probably going to be going for around 10 more minutes. Okay. You also have a lot of non-girlfriends. Hello, how are you doing? What kind of gender someone was didn't seem to make any difference in who you got along with. Then the shrill ringtone announced an incoming call. You jumped before grabbing the receiver and pressing it to your ear. Lee, finally, who is it? Punchy Residence, Pinky speaking, hello? Punchy Residence, Pinky speaking. You were greeted by a distorted, high-pitched giggle. Why do you sound so weird? I'm doing great, just finished playing Monster Hunter. Ooh! I've never played Monster Hunter, but I've heard a lot of good things. So I hope you had a good time. Hope you won? Do you win at Monster Hunter? I don't know. Why do you sound so weird? My mom answers the phone like that sometimes. It's supposed to be polite. You should just go with hi. That was something a robot would say. There was static on the end, as if Lee was shifting wherever she was. So, can you believe school's actually over? I never thought it'd be done. Yeah, I killed the monster. Hell yeah! Fuck yeah! Now we don't have to do any of that boring stuff, and we get to hang out whenever we want. Speaking of hanging out... Lee, can you wait a second? Let me just head to my room.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got up from your seat at the counter. Luckily, the phone was wireless, so you didn't have to worry about the cords tying you down. Your mom's had a rule about not moving the phone unless a call was in progress, which is why you'd been sat by its cradle waiting for Lee to call. Your moms could be really unfair. You thought that made sense. You didn't like it, but it had to be that way. You didn't like it, but it had to be that way. You weren't the only person here. If anyone could take the phone anywhere at any time, it'd be an even bigger hassle. You could easily imagine the receiver having a new forever home in Elizabeth's locked room. Is this a dating sim visual novel? It is! It's a dating sim visual novel about, we're trying to date, Cove. There's not multiple options, you just get the one option, the one Cove option. But it is a dating visual novel, yes. You're currently in stage 2. Stage 1 was childhood, where we were 8. And this is stage 2, where we are officially a teenager at 13, and then there will be a stage 3. Yeah, this is my first time playing this, so... But now that Lee had called, it was okay for you to go upstairs to your bedroom and talk to her. You made your way up the stairs, smiling. After you had arrived, you shut the bedroom door firmly behind you. You took a seat on your bed. Yes, there's age progression. It's cool because at the beginning of each stage, you get to decide, you get to choose how you feel around Cove, and what your feelings are towards Cove. Like whether you feel nervous around him or relaxed around him, or whether you have a crush on him or are fond of him or indifferent of him. So we just started stage 2 being relaxed around him and fond of him. Take a seat on your bed. Alright, I'm here. Cool. Hey, did you know the girl down the street from me has her own phone now? A cell phone. She doesn't have to wait for someone else to stop using it or anything. What year is this? Wow, really? I feel like this is the 90s. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's really cool. I found this game on a whim when I was just looking for free games on Steam because it's free. It's a free game. It's real cool. It's been a really fun game so far. The thought of someone having a phone that was all their own seemed unbelievable to you. Is that us in the corner? No, that is our cousin Lee. You don't see the player character like ever. You can customize him, but it's like a POV. So any characters in the corners are other characters. Right? I wish I had one too, but my parents said I couldn't get my own phone until I'm more grown up. I wish they'd changed their mind. We could call each other every single day, and no one would be able to stop us. How great would that be? But yeah, we did fill out the character creator to look like my VTuber model, so it does look like Pinky. Really great, but wouldn't I still be using a home phone? Too bad that's so far away. But wouldn't I still be using a home phone? My moms would be able to stop us if they wanted. Lee laughed. You didn't put a damper on her imagination. Oh, then you have your own phone too. That works. She sighed dramatically. I bet I'm not gonna get one until I'm all the way in college. Squeezing the phone between your shoulder and ear, you puffed up your pillows and made yourself more comfy. It was strange to think of a time when normal school would be over and you'd have to choose whether or not to go to a college. School was such a big part of your life right now. Studying didn't come easily to you, though you tried hard. You worked about as hard as most people and got pretty average results as well. You never tried much, but you still didn't do that bad. You didn't bother in school at all, and your grades reflected that. Everything in your classes came easily to you. You worked hard for your excellent grades. Studying didn't come easily to you, though you tried hard. You knew it was important, and you wanted to do well. Frustratingly, even your best didn't seem to quite ever be good enough. You didn't know how it could be harder. Oh, that's a mood. That's an ADHD mood. You felt a lot of pressure to get higher grades than you did last year. You hoped you'd do just as well this year, but it wouldn't be a big deal if they dropped some. You were confident your grades would remain great. You had no plans on getting excellent scores this time around. You felt a lot of pressure to get higher grades than you did last year. Your future depended on it. Yeah. You tried to sound engaged, but your mind had decided to go back to school despite the season. Lee knew you too well to be fooled. You sound so spacey. What's up? Just thinking about school. Lee groaned. Are you thinking about how we don't have to think about it because it's summer? That's what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to going back. Let's make a petition for more vacation time. It's so awful, I hate going. Come on, it's too scary to not think about it. It's so awful, I hate going. I get what you mean. Though, I guess school isn't all the way bad. You can do some good things there. You can just do more when school's out. Holy options, yeah. Yeah, there's some choices where it's like, oh, do you want to choose between these 12 options? And I'm like, I guess. Yeah, like, holy shit. It was explained at the beginning that, it doesn't always correlate 1-to-1, but, generally the ones that are blue highlighted are the more, like, straightforward, direct options, and then the yellow ones are the more, like, optimistic, joyful, I think, and then the green are the more, like, detached or anxious ones. So you can see when I highlight over it, it's different colors. So learning new things can be cool. Gym is pretty great, though. Ew, no. It's the easiest to hang out with people. It's the easiest way to hang out with people not in the neighborhood. The cafeteria lunches at my school could be better than they had any... Like, the cafeteria lunches at my school could be better than they had any right to be. There's nothing good about my school. There's nothing good about my school. I won't fight you on that.
All right.
Now, I decree the topic of school is officially closed. We have to talk about this summer first before we start plotting the rest of our lives. I've got some plans already. Ooh, tell me. I'm gonna visit my cousins. Us? You chuckled, of course. What's something you want to do? The first thing that comes into your head. I want to spend time with people. I've got some new art supplies, reading. I'm going to catch up on movies and TV. Probably I'll spend time at the beach. I don't want to do anything at all. It's a vacation. Well, we established that we were artists, so I got some new art supplies. I can't wait to try them out. I can't wait to see what you make. You leaned back in your bed, settling in as you continued chatting with your friend. Even though it hadn't been that long since you saw her and you'd be seeing her soon, you still found plenty to talk about. For one, the events of the day. You sat up straighter. I was with Cove and Derek today, and we met a new kid. Like, at your neighborhood? Mm-hmm. His parents are visiting family, so it sounds like he'll be around for a little while. I don't know how long. What was he like? Creepy, mean, weird, kind of interesting. Mean. He was mean. He was mean as hell. He kept snapping when all we were trying to do was talk to him. He just kept being rude to everyone. But especially Cove. It was awful. I don't think I want to meet him. You want a boy to stay away before even meeting him? That's an unexpected twist. Wow, okay, jeez. Your cousin was pretty popular with the boys who knew her. She seemed happy enough to have them around, until they started to annoy her. Who are you to talk? Cove and Derek are always around. They're both boys, you know. That's true. That's not the same. They're not always around. I'm not the one who invites them. They show up on their own. You weren't able to say anything to that. You weren't able to say anything to that. Lee laughed at your silence, deeply amused. Even though she couldn't see, you shook your head at her, grinning to yourself. There was a stomping oh no, our sister's back. We ate the fruit that was meant for the whole family, so she's pissed at us. There was a stomping noise approaching your room, heralding the arrival of your irritated older sister. She flung the door open, a frown etched on her face. How long are you gonna hog the phone? Glancing at your watch, you realized that your quick call had gone on much longer than anticipated. We ate that much? Okay, to be fair, we ate an entire fruit bouquet, but we split it between us and... Oh! Adina Minotaur! Indiana Minotaur, even. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. Yeah, so we ate... Cove's dad got the whole family a fruit bouquet, and then me, Cove, and Derek ended up eating the entire thing. So... Hello, I met you via Blue Sky. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. This is my Twitch channel. Obviously, if you met me on Blue Sky, then you saw that I have my schedule pinned and everything. So, yeah, I try to stream almost every day at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, it wasn't just us alone eating that entire fruit bouquet. Glancing at your watch, you realized that your quick call had gone on much longer than anticipated. Elizabeth held out her hand, the other one lodged on her hip. She noticed the realization on your face. Time's up! Gotta go, see you soon, okay? With a sigh, you said your goodbyes to Lee. Sorry for being long. I'm still using it. No, get out of my room. We have been using it a while. With a sigh, you said your goodbyes to Lee. Lee, I have to go now. Okay, see you soon. Tell Elizabeth and your moms I said hi too. You barely pressed the end call button when Elizabeth whisked the handset from your fingers and began dialing someone new as she strode out of the room. Your ma's voice called from downstairs. Hey, has anyone seen the phone? I'm using it! With that, she shut your door behind you. Silence was left in the wake. That was one way to end your first day of summer break. Sometime later, it had gotten dark outside, and you laid in bed awake. Okay, I think it's 8:04, so I've been streaming for about 2 hours. I'm starting to get tired. I think I might save here now that we just had like a transition into a new time. And then I think I will continue this later. Here, let me... menu... Turn to quit game. Yes. Yes! Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I really love my VTuber model too. I feel really bad that I don't have like a super proper credit. Is this gonna actually quit out? Can you quit out? Can you actually quit out. It's just frozen. It's just frozen. Just exit, please. Just exit the game. Just exit. Yeah, I know it's not responding. Just close the program. That's what I want. The game. No, you can't quit. The game wants you to keep on going. Okay, let's go back to talking. And let's get that VGM play. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me if you are here live. And then I also upload all of my streams as VODs to my YouTube channel. So if you I just realized what you just realized. I just upload VODs to my YouTube channels. I can move now. Yes. Yes, I have my live 2D model now. But yes, I also upload VODs to my YouTube channel. So if you're watching on my YouTube channel, thank you so much for watching. And I try to stream almost every day at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. But yes, I'm not streaming tomorrow. I should get ahead and say that. I am not streaming tomorrow. I am taking a day off because I am going on an apartment tour. We're so winning with the new model. Hell yeah. Like I said, I wish I got this model in 2022 from an Etsy listing that does not exist anymore. So I have the email, like the email of the person sending me the file. So I put their email in my Twitch description. I wish I had some more substantial form of credit, but that's all that I have. But yes, I will not be streaming tomorrow because I'm going on an apartment tour, and I know myself, and I know that I'm going to be drained after that. And then also exciting news for tomorrow though is that the new microphone that I ordered and the USB extender so that I can use my webcam with my PC should be arriving tomorrow. So then Wednesday's stream should hopefully, fingers crossed, be a better microphone and also on my PC so that I can actually play Stardew and other more like demanding games with my Live 2D model without the drop frames going crazy, because I tried to do that last time and the stream froze. So but yeah, I will be back on Wednesday with some Stardew Valley at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And again, if you're watching live, thank you so much for tuning in and joining me live. And if you're watching the Twitch VOD, the YouTube VOD, thank you so much for watching the VOD. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye!